Akachukwu and the elders were taken to the police station and were immediately locked behind bars. Because Larry was very influential, he gave orders that the elders should not be allowed to write a statement. Instead, they were labeled as miscreants who went to Larry's hotel to cause mayhem. 5 days passed, and Akachukwu and the elders were still behind bars. No one knew of their whereabouts from the village because Akachukwu, the only person that knew Larry's hotel, was in jail with the elders. True to Larry's words, he made sure the elders suffered in jail. They didn't know that Larry had such a hard heart with no human sympathy. The food they were given was better suited for animals. And even so, it was only once a day that they got a meal. One of the elders, Adaji, who was a diabetic and hypertensive patient, started falling sick. He only came with a few of his medications when they left the village for the city. He didn't know that what was supposed to be a 1 to 2 day stay would turn into this. With his medication finished, Adaji notified the police officers of the need for his medication to be refilled, but they ignored him. He pleaded with them to please reach out to Larry and plead on his behalf, but they would not heed to his plea. One by one, the elders started falling sick because of the poor and unhygienic food they were given. The poor sanitary environment they were kept in also contributed to their ill health. Still, the policemen did not do anything to help the situation. It wasn't until Adaji became unconscious that they finally reached out to Larry, asking him to allow them to release the elders before they would all die in jail. That was when Larry gave orders for them to be released. He even came to the police station the day they were to be released to mock them. "Old, hungry, and greedy elders," he began, "I hope you have learned your lessons. You should thank your stars that I am in a good mood today, or else I would have allowed you to die here and those that are still alive would eat the dead. And you," he said, pointing at Akachukwu, "I hope you are enjoying your buildings in the city and in the village like you demanded in the marriage list you gave to me." It was easy to see through your greed the very first day you approached me. And unfortunately for you, you played right into my hands. Your daughter is mine now, and there is nothing you can do about it. You had better forget setting your eyes on her ever again, and if I ever see any of you close to my hotel again, that would be the last day you will live on this earth," Larry said and left them. He didn't even bother giving them some money to transport themselves back to the village. With Adaji unconscious and 2 other elders already very sick, Akachukwu and the 3 other elders that were still strong had to carry Adaji outside the police station and laid him by the roadside. People looked at them confused, wondering what was going on. No one cared to go close to them to offer help. With Adaji's breathing becoming very heavy and fast, Akachukwu threw caution to the wind and stepped out on the road in front of oncoming vehicles, shouting and calling for help. "Somebody! Anybody! Please help us! Please help us! Oh, my brother is dying! Please help us!" It was then that people stopped to help them. Some of the car owners immediately raised some money for them to take Adaji to the hospital, while one person volunteered his pickup truck, and they all got into the truck. Adaji and the other sick elders were then taken to a nearby hospital. Luckily for them, the hospital was well equipped and immediately placed Adaji on oxygen, gave him some injections while still running the necessary tests. The other sick elders were also well attended to. After 3 days, Adachi regained consciousness and could recognize people again. The other two elders were also looking much stronger than they did when they arrived at the hospital. When they were discharged, the balance of their hospital bill came to a total of 342,000 naira. They had initially deposited 98,000 naira that the car owners raised for them the day they brought Adachi to the hospital. Although discharged, Adachi and the other elders were not allowed to leave the hospital until they provided the balance. They spent an extra 4 days before finally luck shined on them. A non-governmental organization was on a hospital visit, and when they heard of Adachi and the other elders' plight, they offered to offset their hospital bills. They provided them with some money from which they paid their transportation back to the village. On reaching their village, the elders all fell on their knees, thanking their ancestors for bringing them back home alive after a trip that turned into a nightmare. The king's men there and then vowed never to interfere with anything that has to do with Larry. But little did Akachukwu know that his misery was just beginning. He got home and could not find any of his 2 younger children. He ran to his kinsmen's homes, hoping that they were there, but no one seemed to have seen them. He also asked his neighbors if they had seen his children, but they too had no idea where they were. Akachukwu was almost running mad. He didn't know where to go looking for his children. He went about the whole village, searching for them. It was when he ran into his childhood friend that he finally got a clue of where his children could be. Akachukwu, my friend, how are you? It has been a long time. Why are you looking so worn out and sick? I hope everything is alright. Nju, my world is crashing before my eyes. As I'm talking to you, I cannot find my 2 children, Amara and Obinna. I have been looking for them for the past 5 days, and they are nowhere to be found. I don't understand. You mean your children are missing, and you have not gone to the town crier to inform him? But wait though, was it not the other day that I saw one of your children in Opudo Market? Opudo Market? When, please? Few days ago, I saw him walking in the market and thought he came with someone to the market. Have you checked the market yet? While he was still speaking, Akachukwu had already taken off in search of his children at the market. Opudo Market was not Ndani's common village market. It was the major market that connected Ndani and the neighboring villages. It was a bigger market than their market here in Ndani. It only sells on Eke and Nkwo market days. So, how did his children find their way to such a market as Opudo Market? Akachukwu wondered to himself as he hastily made his way to the market. As he reached the market, the place was almost empty. He searched all the market stalls and was about to come to the conclusion that they were not there when he saw someone lying on the floor in front of one of the closed stalls, sleeping. As he got closer, he screamed for joy. Amara! Obinna! Oh, my ancestors! Thank you! Thank you! Akachukwu excitedly hugged his children. What happened? Why are you people here sleeping in the market? Why did you leave home? I have been searching for you. Papa, Obinna, his 14-year-old son, began. We have been looking for you too. You told us that you'll be back soon when you traveled to the city, but you did not come. Amara and I were sleeping one night when a snake entered our house. We ran out and went to Papa Jidenna's house. But Mama Jidenna was always beating us and asking us to go back to our house. She would beat us and ask us to go to her farm and farm. When we finish, she will not give us food. Then one day, we saw Dogu, my schoolmate, who asked us to come with him to Opudo market and help people to carry their load on our head like he does after school. That is how I and Amara have been making money to eat until the next market day. We have been sleeping here since, Papa. Amara is always crying that she wants to go home. But that snake was very big and I am afraid. I am very happy you are back so that we can go home and kill the snake. I want to go back to school, Papa, Obinna said. Oh, my children, I am so sorry. Chai! Well, why would Mama Jidenna treat you people like this? And I went to their house to ask if they had seen you, and they denied knowing your whereabouts. Oh, so because Papa Jidenna was not around, because he followed me to the city, she now turned you people to slaves. There is no problem. Anyway, I'm so happy to see you, my children. Let's go home now. As the days went by, Akachukwu knew that he had to do something before they all starved to death. As a retired railway worker who was not used to hard work, he had no choice but to start doing what Ugo was doing while she was with him. He started working on people's farms. He would weed and cultivate farms and then use the money he made to buy food for his family to feed. It was not easy for Akachukwu, but he had no other means of getting money since he was not being paid his pension. The lessons he learned in the past few weeks have made him value his children more. It was as if he suddenly realized that his children were his responsibility and not the other way around. However, one fateful day, tragedy struck. Akachukwu had gone to the farm to farm as usual. He had finished working on the farm he was paid to farm on and was on his way back home when he met a farm owner who was looking for someone to help her cut her palm nuts from the palm tree. Akachukwu quickly bargained with the woman for a price and accepted to climb the palm tree to cut the palm nuts. Meanwhile, Akachukwu had never climbed a palm tree in his life, but because he wanted to make more money, he agreed to do it. Even when the farm owner asked him where his ete was, he said that he forgot it at home, but would use the wrapper he tied on top of his trouser as a rope since the palm tree wasn't too tall. Ete is the rope palm tree tappers use in climbing a palm tree and is made from the outer back of the midsection of the oil palm frond. It is usually very strong and often replaced once it starts wearing out. This was what Akachukwu wanted to use his wrapper to replace. That tying both ends of his wrapper around himself and the palm tree, Akachukwu started climbing. He would lean back and then thrust himself forward as he climbed. Indeed, the palm tree was not too tall, which was why Akachukwu managed to cut the palm nuts from the tree. But as he was coming down from the tree, the wrapper loosened, and before Akachukwu could gather himself, he had already landed on the ground, screaming on top of his voice. It happened that there was an old rusted digger head that was stuck to the ground close to the palm tree. Akachukwu, when falling, landed his right thigh on the sharp edge of the digger. If not for the intervention of some village youths who, on hearing his cry and rescued him, Akachukwu would have bled to death. He was then rushed to the village health center where he was given tetanus injection and other medications before they dressed the wound and sent him home. But the wound was so deep that it left Akachukwu limping. Try as he may, Akachukwu could no longer farm like he used to. He could only walk around with the help of a walking stick. He left his children with no choice than to go back to Opudo on market days to help people with their loads so that they could at least feed. Meanwhile, back at Larry's mansion, Ugo kept falling sick. Because of her state of mind, each time she took in, she would have a miscarriage. Unperturbed Larry would call a doctor to come and attend to her at home and carry out the necessary evacuation. Even while Ugo was yet to physically and mentally recover, Larry, desperate for a child from her, would go in to lay with her. He never for once tried to console her or make her feel loved. Instead, he would accuse her of being the one terminating her pregnancies. "I know you are the one responsible for getting rid of my babies in your womb. You appear innocent, but you are full of deception. You can't fool me. I will keep getting you pregnant and you will have my babies whether you like it or not. You are the one suffering in all this. So if you know what is good for you, you had better let my babies stay," Larry would say before leaving her. Larry never allowed her to attend antenatal, all because he wanted to cage her in his house. This same pattern continued until Ugo nearly lost her life from complications of her pregnancy. It happened that she had an ectopic pregnancy, and because she wasn't allowed access to early scan nor allowed to see a doctor as she should, pregnancy kept growing in her fallopian tube instead of the uterus. At exactly 7 weeks of her pregnancy, Ugo was about to take her bath in the morning when she felt a sharp pain on the lower part of her abdomen and screamed in pain. The pain was so intense that she couldn't make it to the door to call for help. She suddenly fell and passed out on the floor of her room. Thankfully, one of the cooks was coming upstairs at that moment to serve her food. It was the maid that raised an alarm when she saw Ugo lying lifeless on the floor. The doctor quickly arrived and, seeing the state she was in, knew that she needed to be attended to at the hospital immediately. Ugo was rushed to the hospital where they tried to resuscitate her while carrying out some tests on her, including a pregnancy test. When the pregnancy test came out positive, the doctor quickly called for a scan to be conducted. That was how they found that the baby was not yet attached to her womb, but had instead implanted on her left fallopian tube. Ugo, who was still unconscious, had to be operated on. In an effort to save her life, and because the growing baby had already caused some damage to her left fallopian tube, the doctor had to cut out the fallopian tube and stitched her back. But Ugo was yet to regain consciousness. Surprisingly, Larry came to the hospital to see Ugo. He came down because the doctor informed him of the seriousness of the situation and how Ugo was yet to regain consciousness even after all medical intervention. Larry and the doctor stood discussing Ugo's situation right there in Ugo's room. They felt that since Ugo was unconscious, she couldn't hear what they were discussing. It was there that the doctor told Larry that one of her fallopian tubes had been removed and she was now left with one. Larry didn't show any remorse or concern. Instead, he asked the doctor if Ugo was still going to be able to take in with the remaining fallopian tube, which the doctor said yes, but that it might be more difficult now. They finished discussing, and Larry asked the doctor to do whatever it takes to bring Ugo back to consciousness. Unknown to them, Ugo was regaining consciousness at that very moment and overheard the doctor and Larry discussing her issue. On hearing that her chances of getting pregnant naturally had reduced because one of her fallopian tubes had been removed, Ugo became suicidal. She was tired of living and wanted to end it all. But because she was under medical observation and didn't want to be revived back to life when she tries to take her life, Ugo waited until she was discharged. Back at home and in her room, she was more determined to kill herself. She looked around in her room for anything that she could use in harming herself, but couldn't find any. She then came up with an idea while acting like everything was alright. The following morning, when the cook came in to present her food, she was happy to see Ugo, looking very happy and cheerful. This was the same cook that called for help when she saw Ugo lying lifeless on the floor. "Good morning, Ma. How are you this morning? I'm so happy to see you well again. I was very scared when I saw you on the floor. Oh, this is the first time I am seeing you looking happy. I'm so glad and thank God you are doing well," the cook replied. "Thank you very much, Ma. May I know your name, please?" Ugo asked her. "My name is Elizabeth, but my grandchildren call me Grandma Lizzie. You are young enough to be my grandchild, so you can call me Grandma Lizzie," she said, smiling. "Once again, I am very grateful, Grandma Lizzie. If not for you, I would have been dead by now. Grandma Lizzie, can you do me a favor, please?" "Yes, dear. Please say whatever you want to eat, and I will prepare it very fast for you. I don't want you to be sad again." "No, Grandma Lizzie, I don't want you to cook anything for me. I want you to please give me your phone. I want to make a call." "But Ma, you know we are not allowed to do that. You know I am not even allowed to speak to you. But after seeing the state you were in the last time, I cannot help but be happy that you are well again. Please ask me any other thing and I will do it for you, Ma." "Grandma Lizzie, please do this one favor for me. I have been living here with no one to talk to. I just want to know how my father is doing. That is all. I won't ask you for a phone next time after now. Please do this for me, I beg you." "Ma, what you ask of me is very hard. If I get caught, I will lose my job immediately. I have already taken the risk to speak to you. Please forgive me, but I cannot do what you ask of. I'm very sorry," Grandma Lizzie said as she bowed and left the room. As she got downstairs, she became unsettled. She wanted to do as Ugo asked her to, but the fear of Larry was the beginning of wisdom. If he doesn't catch her on the CCTV camera now, he would catch her the day he decides to go through the recordings. After so much contemplation, she grabbed her phone and went upstairs to meet Ugo. "Ma, I know that giving you this phone might cost me my job, but if I don't do it, my mind will not be at rest. I see the way you stay here all alone. I cannot imagine any of my grandchildren going through what you are going through. For that reason, I have made up my mind to risk it all. If this is the last time I walk in this house, so be it," Grandma Lizzie said as she handed over the phone to Ugo. "You will never forget this kind gesture, Grandma Lizzie. Alive or dead, I will never forget. Thank you so much, Ma. Please, can you step outside the door for a few minutes? I will call you when I'm done with the call." Grandma Lizzie stepped outside the room and waited. Ugo quickly dialed her father's number. She called his number 3 times before he finally picked. "Hello," Akachukwu said. "Papa, it's me, Ugo," Ugo said, crying. "Ugo, Ugo, my daughter, is this really you? Oh, my daughter, please forgive me. I am very sorry, my daughter. Papa, you destroyed my life, my future. Ugo continued tearfully. I begged you to allow me marry the man that I love, but you refused. I begged you not to allow Larry marry me, but you sold me off to him for money. I hope you are happy now, Papa. I hope you are enjoying the wealth that came with my marriage. Ugomo, please forgive me, my daughter. I live in regret every day of my life. I wish I can turn back the hands of time. I will give anything to see you again, my daughter. Please tell me where you are. There is no need for that anymore, Papa. This will be the last time you will hear from me. But I forgive you. I pray that you find peace in this life and treat my younger ones better than you did to me. Tell them I love them with everything in me. Goodbye, Papa. Ugom, please wait. Where are you? Please wait. Ugo cut the call while her father was still speaking. She turned off the phone to prevent him from calling her back, and then went to open the door for Grandma Lizzie. Grandma Lizzie, you have made me a very happy woman. I shall indeed have peace now. I just need you to do one last thing for me. Can you please get me a fork for this pap, please? Ugo asked with a fake smile on her face. Fork? How can you use fork to take your pap? There is a spoon on the tray for you to use, Ma. I know. I am just very happy today, and I want to remind myself of the silly things I did when I was a little girl. I used to use fork to take my pap, which takes me a long time to finish, but I did enjoy it. Please, can you get me one? I won't be asking you anything more today, Ugo said. If you say so, Ma, I'm going to get you one now. Give me a minute, please. Grandma Lizzie left to go and get the fork. Here is the fork, Ma. Like I said, Grandma Lizzie, I will never forget this kind gesture today, dead or alive. May the ancestors be kind to you for helping me. You may now leave, please. I want to take my pap, Ugo said. Grandma Lizzie felt that Ugo was up to something suspicious, but couldn't question her any further. This was the second time she was mentioning dead or alive. What could she be up to? She wanted to stay and watch her take the pap, but didn't want to appear disrespectful. She then left the room, but stood behind the closed door. Ugo, on the other hand, quickly picked up the fork. With tears streaming down her eyes, she aimed for the vein on her left wrist and started stabbing it with the fork. She cried out in pain, but kept on stabbing her wrist until she started bleeding. He wanted to quietly bleed to death. Immediately, Grandma Lizzie, who had her ears glued to the door, heard Ugo's cry. She quickly opened the door and saw Ugo sitting on the floor with blood splashing from her wrist. I knew it. I knew you were up to something. Why do this to me, Ma? Now they will ask me who gave you the fork you used in harming yourself. Why are you so keen on killing yourself? Grandma Lizzie said as she took the fork from Ugo's hand. Although very angry at Ugo, she rushed down the stairs as fast as her weak knees could carry her, picked out some first aid items from the first aid box, and also grabbed her phone. She was climbing the stairs to Ugo's room. She quickly placed a call to the doctor, informing him of what happened. Ma, please stay with me. You will be all right. Whatever I can do to help you get out of this house, I will do it. Please stop trying to kill yourself, I beg of you, Grandma Lizzie said as she pressed and held on to her wrist with a gloved hand, trying to stop the bleeding. Ugo at that point was getting weak. She had lost a lot of blood. For someone who was still recovering from surgery not too long ago and never ate enough to replenish what she had lost, her body was weak to fight. Her legs were already getting cold and her throat felt dry. But Ugo was happy that soon she would rest from all the torture she had been through in Larry's hands. As she was closing her eyes, some people barged into her room. They were the medical team that came with the doctor. Without wasting time, they sealed off the wrist that was bleeding and placed her on blood transfusion. Then they put her on a stretcher and took her down to the waiting ambulance. After the incident, Larry called all the cooks and asked who gave Ugo a fork. He had warned them never to serve Ugo a meal with metal cutlery. He knew Ugo might want to kill herself, and so ordered them to only use a plastic spoon or fork each time they served her a meal. Grandma Lizzie quickly stepped out. "I am the one, sir. I am very sorry. I didn't know she was planning to harm herself. Please forgive me. It won't happen again, I promise. The only reason you are still standing before me is because you were the one that called for help. If not, you would have been out of this house this very instant. Old woman, didn't I warn you all never to interact with her? What were you discussing with her that made her demand for a fork from you? If you can no longer focus on your duties in this house, let me know, and I will relieve you of your duties with immediate effect. Let this serve as a last warning to all of you. The next time such a thing happens, you will all lose your jobs." Back at the hospital, Ugo was responding to treatment. They kept her for a few more days and later discharged her. Before leaving, the doctor called Larry privately and asked him to make sure that Ugo was taken for therapy to tackle whatever it was that made her suicidal. Also asked him to desist from laying with her for at least 3 weeks to allow her to fully recover. Even with everything the doctor said, Larry was not moved to have compassion on Ugo. He waited for her to come back to the house and went straight to address her. "So after killing all my babies in your womb, you now want to kill yourself too? For your information, you are my property. I own you. You can try to kill yourself as many times as you wish, because that is the only way you can be free from me. But until then, you will do as I say and perform your wifely duties to me whenever I want," Larry said as he stepped out of the room. To make sure Ugo did not try taking her life anymore, Larry dedicated a staff to watch her 24/7, but was not allowed to converse with her. The staff only left the room when it was time to retire for the night. Seeing all that had transpired in the past few weeks, Grandma Lizzie knew she had to do something to save Ugo. Although she was no longer allowed to serve Ugo her meals or go close to her, she was determined to find a way to save her. He waited until she was off duty on the weekend before putting a call through to the number Ugo had called on the day she used her phone. Akachukwu picked the call and listened as Grandma Lizzie told him everything Ugo had been going through. She ended the call, but not without asking him to come and rescue his daughter. After the call, Akachukwu wept bitterly. Here was an opportunity for him to save his daughter, but he could not do anything. The injury he sustained on his right thigh has relegated him to sitting down most of the time. He didn't have money to pay someone to go to the city to rescue his daughter, nor could he run to his kinsmen to help him after what they went through in the hands of Larry. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, Chidi came into the picture. Chidi was the suitor that loved Ugo genuinely and wanted to marry her, but Akachukwu refused because he was an ordinary tailor. But life has been fair to Chidi. One of his customers, who got an appointment with the state government, connected him to top men that matter in the state. His expertise and fashion design sense turned the top government officials into his regular customers. His fame went so far that people outside the state and country paid him to sue for them. Chidi was so favored that some of the commissioners allocated contracts to him to execute. In the space of 5 months, Chidi had erected a beautiful duplex in the city for himself. A 2-story shopping plaza where he uses the entire down floor for his tailoring, which has expanded beyond his expectations. Although he had moved his tailoring shop to the city where he is based now, he also upgraded the one in the village and put people in charge to manage it for him. From time to time, Chidi would go back to the village to check on how his business was going. One fateful day, as he was coming back from the city, he saw Obinna and Amara, Ugo's siblings, as they were returning from carrying loads at Opudo market. "Obinna, Amara, how are you?" Chidi called out to them. "Uncle Chidi!" Obinna and Amara shouted as they ran to him. Chidi got down from his car and gave them a tight hug. "It's so good to see both of you. How have you been and where are you coming from?" "Uncle Chidi," Obinna started excitedly, "we just finished helping people to carry their load at Opudo market. Uncle, we made a lot of money today. Oh, we worked very hard. See, we made 1,200 naira today. My father will be very happy with us." Obinna continued. "You people carry what? When did you two start carrying loads in the market? What happened to your schooling? Are you people not going to school anymore?" "We still go to school, but on Opudo market days, we leave very early to the market to make enough money that we use in eating until the following week." "Why are you the ones making money for you to feed? What about your father? Where is he?" "He is not strong anymore. He fell from a palm tree and injured his thigh. Now he cannot walk well." "Is he at home now? Can I come and see him?" "Yes, uncle. Please come and see him." As they got home, the children excitedly dragged Chidi to where their father, Akachukwu, was sitting. "Papa, I don't know if you remember me, but my name is Chidi, Ugo's friend. How are you, Papa?" "Chidi, the tailor?" "Yes, Papa. How have you been faring?" Akachukwu, who was sitting on a chair, leaned back to observe Chidi from head to toe. From Chidi's appearance, you will know that he was doing well. Akachukwu then looked past Chidi to the jeep he came with. "Are you the one that owns this jeep?" "Yes, Papa. Obinna told me of your injury and I came to see you and know how you are doing," Chidi said. While Chidi was still speaking, Akachukwu let out a very loud cry. "Ewo Chimo! Chidi, the one I refused to marry Ugo to? Hey! Is this how life is? Chidi, my son, life has made me a mockery before my fellow men. I sit about all day like a cripple, unable to fend for myself and my children. The worst is that my daughter Ugo is being held hostage by the wicked man that married her. I cannot see my daughter Chidi. I used my hand and sold my daughter into slavery, all because of my greed. Now, look at you, someone I called a common teller. I know you must be laughing at me for my foolishness and what has become of me. And I don't blame you, but I have learned my lesson. Every day, I wish for death, but when I remember my children, Papa, please take it easy on yourself. Chidi cut him short. I am not here to mock you. I never knew you were going through so much all this while. I also did not know Ugo has been going through a lot. Shortly after her traditional wedding, a customer of mine connected me to his top friends, and I have been very occupied since then. I only come to the village occasionally. Thankfully, today I ran into Obinna and Amara. But first things first, I don't want them to continue carrying loads for people at the market. I will provide for all of you henceforth. Please, they should not miss school anymore. What did you just say, my son? That you will take care of me and my children after all I did to you? Oh, may the gods of our land be kind to you. You will never know sorrow all the days of your life, my son. Thank you, Papa. Now, please tell me everything you know about Ugo's marriage and how I can locate her. Akachukwu tearfully told him all that he and the elders had been through in the hands of Larry when they went to demand for Ugo's whereabouts, and the pain in Ugo's voice when she called him on the phone. As it stands now, my son, I don't know where my daughter and Larry live. A woman that works with them as a cook called me one time asking me to come and save my daughter from Larry. I have tried calling back that number to get more details of how I can find my daughter, but have not succeeded. I have tried it on several occasions, but it will ring and no one will pick the call nor return my call. It's alright. You will give me the name of Larry's hotel in the city, the number that you have been calling. I'm sure I will be able to locate the hotel. I will do everything in my power to rescue Ugo from the hands of this man called Larry. For now, let me get to the market and buy some foodstuff for you. I will be back, Chidi said as he left for the market. The following day, Chidi made his way to the city and headed straight to the hotel Akachukwu told him was Larry's hotel. On reaching there, he asked to see the owner of the hotel, but was instead referred to the hotel manager. Ever since the incident with Akachukwu and the elders, Larry instructed that on no account should they send people to him, except the people he had an appointment with. All Chidi's efforts to see Larry were unsuccessful. Finally, after seeking the counsel of his friends, he came up with the suggestion of suing Larry to court on behalf of Akachukwu, the father, for unlawful withholding of Ugo under the guise of marriage. He got a lawyer involved, and the court paper was served to Larry through his hotel manager. During the court proceedings, Chidi's lawyer came up with a lot of proof to support the case, including the 5 million naira bounced check Larry presented as bride price. However, Larry used his connection and influence to turn the case in his favor. Although Chidi tried to use his own connections with top government officials to intervene, the case still died down. Meanwhile, Chidi had been calling Grandma Lizzie's phone number. Chidi called and called, but no one picked. But he was not ready to give up. He tried it yet again on a weekend, and finally, Grandma Lizzie picked the call. Chidi, after introducing himself, asked to speak with Ugo. But Grandma Lizzie told him that she was not on duty that weekend, as it was her time off. She told him of how she was no longer allowed to bring a phone to work after the suicide incident, which was why her phone was always at home, and that by the time she comes home during the weekend, the missed calls from different phone numbers will be too numerous for her to return. But Grandma Lizzie was happy that Ugo's relation reached out to her. She promised to provide Chidi with all the information he needed to rescue Ugo. Since Ugo was not allowed to leave Larry's house, Chidi knew that the only way to get to her was to break into Larry's house and rescue her. He started drawing his plans. Already, he had gotten the address of Larry's house where Ugo was. He went to check it out and found out that the mansion had a very tall fence with electric wires. So he knew that trying to go over the fence would not work. He then arranged with Grandma Lizzie on how she would add sleeping pills to the gateman's food on the day they were to break in. The following weekend, Chidi met with Grandma Lizzie at her home, and together they put the finishing touches to the plan. You are to carry out this plan on a Friday because Mr. Larry is never home from Friday to Sunday, and my weekend day off starts from Saturday morning. I'll be there to help you on Friday night to unlock the gate for easy access. Once you make it into the house, you can then rescue my madam. Grandma Lizzie said, "Thank you so much, ma. You know that when Larry discovers that you are the one that helped us out, he will come after you. Therefore, I would like to make you an offer. I would like you to come work for me in taking care of Ugo. I'll pay you double whatever you are currently being paid. You can equally live with us in the house because Larry might trace you to your home. Please don't say no." "It's all right, sir. I don't need double pay. I am just tired of seeing my madam live in agony and isolation every day. Reminds me of my grandchildren, and I will never allow anyone to do that to any of my grandchildren. I will gladly work for you for a few more years and retire back to my home. By then, Mr. Larry would have forgotten all about me." Chidi thanked her and asked her to gather her valuable items together and wait for him the following weekend. Chidi made his way back to the village to inform Akachukwu of his plans to rescue Ugo. He also asked Akachukwu to pick his valuable items as he was taking him and the children to the city with him. The following weekend, Chidi picked up Grandma Lizzie's belongings and took them to his house. Meanwhile, he had concluded with the policemen that would join him in the rescue mission. Then the day for the rescuing of Ugo arrived. Arrangement was for Chidi to arrive at 11 p.m. that night. Grandma Lizzie waited until about 8 p.m. to serve the gateman his dinner. She added the sleeping pills to his food and went to his gate post to serve him. She returned back to the house with a smile on her face, knowing that in a few hours she'll be out of this house for good. She was still in thoughts when all of a sudden the door to the main entrance opened and in came Larry, stepping into the house. Grandma Lizzie froze like someone who had seen a ghost. Her heart started beating very fast. She greeted Larry, who simply nodded at her and made his way upstairs to his room. Grandma Lizzie started sweating profusely. She was not expecting Larry to be back on a Friday, as he has never been home in all the weekends she had worked for him. She became very afraid because in about 2 hours, Chidi and the policemen would be here, and she could not call him to inform him of the new development since she was not allowed to bring a phone to work anymore. Grandma Lizzie was so afraid as she kept her eyes on the clock, which was now showing 9:34 p.m. and Larry was still in the house. She paced up and down in fear, watching the time as it ticked away. When the clock struck 10:15 p.m. and Larry was still at home, Grandma Lizzie almost passed out in fear. She made up her mind to go outside the gate and wait for Chidi and his team on the road so as to warn them. She was just about to step out of the house when she heard a door upstairs open. She quickly went into hiding as she watched Larry come down the stairs with a briefcase. He got into his car and honked for the gateman to open the gate, but the gateman was nowhere in sight. He waited and finally got out of his car. He dashed into the gateman's room and found him sprawled on the bed, fast asleep. He angrily kicked him with his foot and woke him up. "What sort of sleep is this? Is this how you sleep deeply when you are supposed to guard the gate? Are you normal at all?" "I'm very sorry, sir. Please don't be angry. I will not sleep like this again," the gateman said as he quickly ran out to open the gate for Larry. As Larry drove out, he closed the gate and went back to his room, walking like a drunk. The sleeping pills were still very much effective. He hung the keys by the wall in his room and fell back on the bed, fast asleep. Few minutes later, Grandma Lizzie sneaked in and took the keys. She unlocked the gate and left it slightly open for easy entrance. Then she took the keys back to the gateman's room and hung it back. At exactly 11 p.m., Chidi and the policemen arrived. They parked their car outside, entered the compound, and headed straight for the entrance door. Grandma Lizzie, who was already waiting for them, quickly opened the door and led them to Ugo's room. Getting to Ugo's room, Chidi went to where Ugo was sleeping and gently woke her up. On seeing Chidi, Ugo screamed in happiness. Chidi, am I dreaming? Oh my God, Chidi, what are you doing here? How did you find me?" Ugo asked as tears rolled down her face. "My love, this is not the time for questions. I will answer them later, but for now, we have to go." Without wasting time, Ugo got up and followed them downstairs and got into the waiting vehicles. Chidi helped Grandma Lizzie, who was walking slowly because of her age, to get into the car. Then he closed back the gate and they all left for his house. All this happened without anyone noticing what had happened. It was when the staff that was supposed to be looking after Ugo got to her room in the morning and could not find her that she raised an alarm. Larry, on hearing that Ugo was not in the house, rushed back home from his hotel room where he was spending the weekend with one of his numerous girlfriends. Reaching there, he went straight to his CCTV recording and saw how everything happened. He roared like a lion in anger. "No! That old useless cook. So she was the one behind all this. No wonder she was acting all sneaky last night. Does any of you know where she lives?" He turned to ask the other staff, but none of them had an idea. "Where were all of you when this happened?" "Sorry, sir, but we had all retired to our quarters for the night. Please don't be offended, sir," one of them said. "Don't be offended, you say? All of you are going to pay for this. Where is that stupid gateman?" he asked as he stepped outside of the house. You laid there sleeping like a corpse when you were supposed to be on alert and notify me on time. Who knows, maybe you were part of the plan, but you were stupid enough to stay behind instead of escaping like that old wicked witch of a cook. Biro, Larry called one of his bodyguards. "Take him away to the dark room and torture him until he says the truth. For now, I have somewhere more important to get to." He quickly got into his jeep with 2 other hefty bodyguards and his driver and headed straight to Akachukwu's village. On reaching there, Larry broke Akachukwu's fragile door with his foot and went in, shouting on top of his voice, "Where are you, old man? Show yourself at once and face me like the man that you are," Larry said as he entered each room looking for Akachukwu. His bodyguards searched in and around Akachukwu's house but could not find anyone. "Why do I even bother myself over that little girl? After all, she couldn't give me children when her organs were complete. Now that her chances have reduced, she might never be able to conceive for me. She is equally useless to me. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Bango, butcher, let's get out of here," angry Akachukwu said as they all got into the car and went back to the city. Back at Chidi's home, Ugo, on seeing her 2 siblings, Obinna and Amara, ran and gave them a tight hug. The 3 of them cried tears of joy. Akachukwu, on sighting Ugo, got up from where he was sitting and fell on his knees. "Ugo, Adam, I have offended you greatly. Even the gods and our ancestors know that I have wronged you greatly. I am not worthy to be called your father anymore, but I have learned my lessons, and I have learned them the hard way. Please, my daughter, find a way in your heart to forgive me. I am truly sorry, Adam," Akachukwu said. Ugo went to her father and helped him up. "Papa, I forgive you. I never knew a day like this would come. I thought I was doomed to die in that house. But here I am, alive and in the midst of people that love me. We have all learned a big lesson from this. Never to walk faster than our chi. Please stop crying. You are still my father, and I will never stop caring for you." She then turned to Grandma Lizzie. "Grandma Lizzie, I believe that the gods kept you in that house long before I came, so that you can save me when the time was right. I am forever in your debt. Thank you for loving me like your own. You are like the mother I never had," Ugo said as she gave her a heartfelt hug. To the man who saw a simple farm girl and loved her with all his heart, the one who risked everything to save her from the lion's den, thank you, my warrior. I don't know what the future holds for us, but I assure you of my unending loyalty and trust. Thank you so much, my king. May our ancestors be kind to you even unto old age," Ugo said as she bowed to Chidi. He said, "Amen. Thank you, my love. I will do anything to make sure a smile is always on your face. As for the future, I too may not know what it holds, but one thing I know is that you and I belong together forever. Life has been kind to me, my love. Now, all your dreams of becoming a lawyer and a senior advocate will come to pass," Chidi said as he pulled her into an embrace. "All right, we have all shed enough tears for the day. Ben, bring some bottles of wine from the fridge and some glasses too. It's time to make merry," he said to his housekeeper. And that was how Ugo's life changed for the better. She went back to study law and became a lawyer with her eyes still set on becoming a senior advocate. She and Chidi got married a few months after her rescue, and they both have two beautiful children. Her siblings continued with their education in the city, while Akachukwu was taken to a good hospital for further examination and treatment. As for Larry, 2 years after Ugo was rescued, he was arrested for money laundering by the Crimes Commission Agency. The court found him guilty and sentenced him to 18 years imprisonment with no option of fine. Thank you so much for following this story to the end. I hope this last part was worth the wait. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell to be notified when I post the next interesting story personally written by me. Until I come your way again soon, stay happy.